Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to the Pain Clinic for December 27th. We made it all the way to December 27th. Isn't that crazy? I know I say that every week, but it is crazy that this is the last episode of the 2025 year. I want to welcome you to the show. Holidays today, make cutout snowflakes days, Legos Build Day, and National Fruitcake Day. I guess all those fruitcakes you got for Christmas have to go someplace, and this is the day for them. Birthdays today, we got a whole bunch of them. Bart Gunn is 60. You might remember Bart being smoking guns with Billy and Bart getting knocked out by I can't remember the boxer during the brawl for it all. Interesting fight. Demolition Axe. Bill Eadie is 78. Bill Goldberg is 59 today. Uh, Claudio Castronoli or Cesaro to some of you is 45. China would have been 57 today. And Zelina Vega is 35. So those are all the birthdays. Hey, interested in roller derby, you want to be a skater, officiate Rock City Roller Derby needs you, contact recruitment at rockderbyrecruitment@gmail.com and join a Rock City Roller Derby. We are after Christmas, and man, did we get hit with snow since then here in Rochester. We had none for Christmas, completely green Christmas. And then yesterday, it just came down. Tons and tons and tons of snow came down. And I'm going to have to go out and remove it from my driveway soon. But this show will delay that from happening, which is a good thing. And right so far, it's only me here, your humble host, Cashman. We'll see if anybody else shows up. Maybe they're still deep into their Christmas presents and stuff. You know, we are getting to the end of the year. This will be the last episode of this year. New Year's is coming up next week, and then we would be after New Year's. So we will we will not be we will not we will this will there will not be another show before New Year's unless something weird happens. If it does, follow us on Facebook. That's Pain Clinic on Facebook. That's where you get all our news about the shows if it time changes or anything. I do believe I'm going to be taking next week off though because we have a roller derby tournament here in Rochester, which gets me to my roller derby line. If you're interested in Rock City Roller Derby, I already said that, contact recruitment. But if you're into the men's team, it's Flower City Fear, Flower City FLOUR, flowercityfear.com. We're always looking for new skaters. We got a new season coming up for both teams, and we'd love to have you join us somehow. The next weekend is a juniors tournament here at the Dome Arena, January 2nd through the 4th. And it's bringing together, it's called Winter Wonder Jam. It seems quite appropriate for roller derby. So we're looking forward to that. Today, I want to talk about a couple things. We have AEW's pay-per-view tonight at World's End pay-per-view. That's tonight, the last one of the year. Some great final matchups of the Continental Cup. We'll go through the lineups. We had a bunch of call-ups this past week for WWE, and we'll talk about them a little bit as well as WWE is in town. They are in town Sunday. Today is Saturday, not tomorrow. Wait a second. Yes, tomorrow. Tomorrow they are in town. You may want to go. Tickets are a little bit pricey. I think some of you may know that already, but they're going to be here in Rochester Sunday night. And I kind of want to go. I don't have a ticket yet. I'm waiting for the Groupon. Maybe buy one, get one free. I definitely want to go, but even the nosebleeds are expensive seats. So I'm just telling you that. But you're going to get Cody Rhodes here in town against Drew McIntyre, which, they set up a 3 stages of hell match last night in SmackDown, if you were watching, which is going to take place in Germany next week. So we get Cody, and we also get Jade Cargill wrestling in Rochester for the show coming up the 28th. I'm having a feeling that maybe we're not going to get a Groupon this late, this close to it, but I could be wrong. But if not, then if you got $74 burning in your pocket, I believe those are the cheapest tickets right now. I haven't gone to like some of the StubHubs or anything because they may be less. I will look later today to see because I kind of want to go. This is, we haven't had wrestling in 2 years here since last time WWE was here. And that was a great show in which Seth Rollins addressed the crowd about Brodie Lee. Of course, we had Brodie Lee's anniversary of his passing yesterday, which was really sad. It was a sad day in general, but It was, yeah, Seth Rollins had he cut a promo on the crowd, and talked about the guy from Rochester that was loved Rochester. He said he loved it, he did love Rochester. So, but we are been thinking about him a lot the last couple of days, just because his birthday was recent too. So, um, but they are going to be in town. We're going to get some great matches, and the fluidity between NXT and the Raw and SmackDown brands is becoming less and less. I mean, it's more, or you're seeing more and more guys coming up that you aren't expecting. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we get a lot of NXT people on this show. There is some news about NXT in when I go through the news today about some what's going to happen next year with them. So we've got that to talk about as well. And I might as well jump right into it. Let's talk about AEW's World End tonight. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. I have a co-host here. I'm sorry. My document was in front of the please add to join. And joining us now is Rob Sanderson, the artiste. And I apologize how long you sat there in the chat room, but or whatever. I don't know what happens before you join the show. You sit there in like ether, and or do you get like elevator music, Rob? Hey, Rob, welcome.
Good morning. It's pretty much like a waiting room, but not like the urgent care that always has like the slushy machines that I always forget to get. It's pretty much just sitting here twiddling your thumbs like SpongeBob at that restaurant table,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
booth. Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm sorry.
All good.
I was going off on just a Brodie Lee because that we had the anniversary of his passing yesterday, and you were hidden behind my document I was reading. So,
Oh,
but it was it made me think. I've been thinking a lot about him since his birthday last week. And so it was, but it was the fifth anniversary, which, man, does not seem like it's been that long. It's still so fresh in my memory. But you have any thoughts on that?
oh boy. Yeah, I mean it's first of all, it's crazy that it has been that long, but with COVID and stuff, I mean everything from 2020 being 5+ years ago now is insane, absolutely insane,
Yeah,
impossible to comprehend. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a lot of memories have popped up. I agree in the last couple of weeks, and I yesterday saw a lot of people were posting clips. I guess like Amanda had put it as well. Like 5 years is kind of one of those like milestone numbers or whatever and stuff. So it was even more active kind of yesterday and even into early this morning so far too. Like people just putting up all sorts of tributes from across the wrestling world. And yeah, it's still you know, I,
yeah,
there were a bunch of things I was going to tweet and stuff, and I was just kind of thinking about everything, and um, it's it's tough because like I can honestly say there are still it doesn't happen with too many people, but it does happen once in a while with people. I know other people have experienced this as well, where like for me, it's usually specifically hockey, but something happens and I go to message somebody, and then like, oh, can't do that, and
yeah,
that has happened a lot with him over the last like 5 years and stuff. Because there were certain things that like specific hockey players or whatever and stuff where like he would be the first person I would message about that kind of thing. Like people we discussed, whatever the case was. I've said it before, like when COVID shut everything down and like our entire team got laid off, and the team disappeared for a year and a half and everything and stuff. But like he had just been down there 2 months prior and everything, and we had had a lot of discussions um that I won't really get into, but like career related stuff, whatever. And like, um, he was the first person I reached out to when that all happened. And I was trying to figure out like, what am I doing?
yeah,
Um, and so it's it's a lot deeper than a wrestling thing for obviously a lot of us that knew him. It's even crazy yesterday to see, I want to say it was Big E's post that had like just used a random picture of John backstage at RCW stealing Buff Bagwell's hat with a pain clinic t-shirt on. Like
I was
it's
wondering if that was a pain clinic shirt because I saw the eye dot, the dot on the eye there. So that was
not the Pepsi one, but
that was
the
yeah,
next version. Yep.
that was the
Yep.
Buff Bagwell incident that one of them.
That was that was Buff Bagwell at the Samurai Martial Arts Dojo. Um
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
thinking about how long ago that was. It's
Oh my
crazy.
goodness.
But
Yeah, yeah. Holy. Well, I saw that Amanda said she had never watched a tribute show, and I still actually have it on my DVR. And she said she was going to watch it last night, kind of with like a Jackass theme to it. So
yeah,
I'm sure that probably didn't go well. But I saw some great tributes from MJF. That really,
I want to apparently the MJF Facebook account specifically pops up for people it's fake. Um
oh, really?
so I don't know that for sure either way, but that's what I've heard about that. Because he's really not the type of person to ever do anything. I mean, even Amanda had mentioned yesterday how like MJF had stayed in character basically that whole tribute day as well to kind of like give a little bit of like normalcy to little Brodie that day,
Yeah.
who then obviously got whacked with a cane during the show and stuff. And um, it's there was all sorts of stuff that popped up. I saw match clips and stuff like that pop up in the that montage with the Tom Waits song and stuff. But I know late last night, like before going to bed, like somebody had tweeted a compilation of like John on being the elite. And I still like there's still so many people who have never seen any of that stuff. And I think it is probably the best content that has been made publicly available that shows his true personality. Like it's so ridiculous, but like anybody that ever knew him like knows that like that's him. Like just like loud, crazy laugh, like an infectious like laugh that just like says stupid stuff and like just like I don't the when I think of the people who made me like do the most laughing in my life, like he's either at or near the top of the list. And so like that stuff like for anybody who hasn't seen that being the elite stuff, because obviously it wasn't on TV. I mean, that was all a YouTube series, but the stuff he did, and a lot of credit goes to the other Dark Order guys that were just hilarious
Oh,
with him and playing along. The John Silvers, the Evil Unos, everybody.
he's beaming
Um,
with the papers and stuff. Oh yeah.
oh yeah, and I mean even like Jungle Boy. I mean Griff Garrison, like all sorts. Like it's so worth. I'm at some point I'm gonna watch like the whole compilation of everything because there's so much comedic gold in there, and it wouldn't have been appropriate for television. There is some language. Um, it is John, but like it's just that stuff will make me crack up forever. And so yesterday I also like I came across a there was like a 6 minute clip of like when we called the hockey game together and I know a few years back I think I went back and listened to the whole game. But there was a 6 minute clip that was basically like a lot of his best lines and stuff from the game. And I'm just listening back to it yesterday. I'm just like,
Ah,
this is a lot of inside jokes and stuff, like just kind of popping each other. But like again, I'm laughing out loud to myself, like watching this back, and it's making me smile and stuff. Like it just like it was such a fun day and stuff. But the amount of just like I guess that's what people like should remember too, is like he played this like menacing guy on television that obviously with his size and stuff, and when he'd play a heel or whatever, or when he was in like a lot of the Wyatt stuff or whatever, like it was like this big like again menacing guy like that like was serious. But like that's not the John that I'll remember. I remember the guy who made everybody just fall over laughing. And listening back to that, like some of the stuff we were talking about during a hockey game, it's just like, what is going on? But like, um, I'm so thankful that that day came together.
yeah.
Obviously, I had no clue that, at that point, not even a year later, he'd be gone. It's, it'll never make sense. But, I it's definitely one of those like anniversaries that's always going to hit. And it's weird because like December 26th is also a day where there's a lot of other things that I've always thought of on that day before any of this. And now this is a big thing that happens every year, and it's kind of a, I don't know, like a reality check or
Yeah.
something, like right after Christmas.
I can't think,
But
it's what Christmas has been the last couple of years is that date coming up. So it's like,
yeah,
it kind of takes the focus off of that a little bit, but yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of people with memories out there. I saw a Rowan post something and everybody was, just and if it wasn't MJF, whatever that person who owns that site wrote, it truly was some wonderful things that they said about him being a locker room leader and stuff. So I thought it was him, but maybe
mm,
probably not. Since he's in the main event tonight of a pay-per-view, I'm guessing he probably wouldn't drop character just to do an honor something 5 years later. But I'm sure that they deep down behind the scenes, he probably had a lot of. He was a locker room leader, they said. So it was, and
oh, for sure. Yeah.
yeah. And the funny thing is, he's a very moralistic guy, which is always very, very cool. I mean, he always he could determine when someone was being disrespected and stuff, and he would sometimes he would let people know that, he would say, hey, listen, give the guy a break, I mean, he always gave someone a chance, and I always thought that was great about him. And, I think that, one of those things I kind of miss in the world of wrestling nowadays is you don't get a lot of guys who will call people out when people are, disrespecting people. And he would, because he obviously is the biggest guy in the room most of the time. So you're not going to question him. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, it's like that one, like I said, that post from MJF said he took a bunch of misfits underneath his arms in the locker room. Obviously the Dark Order there, and he said he made them something in that company, which I think, and then I felt that there was a lot of truth behind that, and I think,
Right, that's definitely true. I mean, I especially love that, just thinking back to memories from, road trips and whatever with like, um, like we would go up to like Quebec and like stay with Stu and Uno and stuff, and like just to see like all of these years later that like um he was able to, like, they were there first, but he was able to really like kind of bring those guys to the next level, make them even more relevant and stuff. And to me it was just so cool because like they had been friends since Chikara and all these things that they did together way back in the day, and all these years later like they're getting to do stuff on TV together and stuff was really special.
uh,
Yeah, I mean there were tributes from all across the wrestling world on stuff, and it's everything that you just said here, everything I'm thinking of, like it's just all these memories keep popping up in my head about stuff. I mean, I think back to, having some long conversations with Cody Rhodes, uh, what ended up being a year and a week before John passed. But these were conversations about Rochester, about John coming into AEW potentially at that point, and all sorts of stuff. And me, of course, going to John right after that conversation and kind of sharing things and stuff. And to see, like, Amanda put that up yesterday too, like how big of a part Cody and Brandy and a lot of other people, but like specifically Cody has like become a part of their life, and the kids and stuff. How quickly that bond kind of came together in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously they knew each other before the AEW stuff, but um, things like that are just like it's crazy to think how quickly things can change again or whatever. Um, and I still will always think of like exactly what I was doing when I looked at my phone and saw that he had passed and stuff. It's
yeah.
not a fun memory to have. And I don't know, just it'll always be a shame. I will always know that he would have been AEW World Champion, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Would have absolutely loved that. I mean, that would have been my favorite wrestling moment. But thankful for those all those years and all those memories and stuff. So
Definitely.
um yeah, it's great to see that, 5 years is a long time, and it's great to see like how big of an impact he had on everybody still at this point. The amount of, I mean, it took over Twitter and stuff yesterday in so many ways. So
Yeah, definitely. It was, and I was talking before you came on about how the last time WWE was in town, that's when Seth Rollins stopped at the end of his match and proceeded to, talk about his friend John Huber, and they're going to be in town tomorrow. So it's like, who knows? I know Seth Rollins isn't going to be there because he's recovering from surgery, but as I'm sure, hopefully they'll honor him as they're in town again tomorrow somehow. I don't know exactly. Cody's on the card. He's going to be in the main event.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, and Cody knows what Rochester meant to him, so maybe that'll be an extra.
I can't imagine. I mean, I haven't been to a Cody Rhodes era WWE live event, but I can't imagine him not talking.
He usually
So
does like 15 minutes after the show's done most of the
yeah.
time. He'll bring the kids up into
So
the
hopefully somebody records that. I will not be at the show, but I'd love to see that.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I when I was looking for something yesterday too, like I came across just a clip that first AEW show in Rochester, like we chose to like sit from the very top across from the stage,
yeah,
where you couldn't even see all the video screen and stuff, because of the arena layout. But like I have a video of just like the crowd after the opening Dynamite pyro and like the crowd just like screaming the Brodie chant and stuff or whatever, and like um special moments and stuff with that. Like I'm glad that happened. Obviously would have preferred for his debut to have happened there and everything, but um I don't know. The memories flood in times like this, and I'm
yeah,
sure it'll be the same way on this week next year and so on.
sure, yeah. That I remember that was because stupid COVID, we lost out on something that at least that part, of the debut there, which I mean at that time too, was I guess Matt Hardy was supposed to debut as well, and I mean I
Yeah.
don't know if that's nearly as strong, but since he, I'm guessing that, a perfect world, he'd still be with him today and Matt would be wherever Matt is. So, but, it's just, it's one of those things. It's 5 years, doesn't seem like it. And it's like, you go through your memories on your social media and things pop up and it's like, yeah, it doesn't, man, just, I remember where I was too. And it's like, my night was done as soon as I saw that message. It was like, oh, felt
Well, and
like
even
I
thinking
got
about it
dizzy.
right now, like, I mean, he made his debut on March 18th of 2020,
Yeah.
specifically. Remember what that week was supposed to be. And his last match would have been October 7th, the dog collar match against Cody.
Yep.
Um, that's not even 7 months, in terms of like actively being on TV. And for somebody to have that big of an impact on a fan base and stuff. I mean, obviously from like the wrestlers and everything else, like a lot of those people knew him from when they worked together elsewhere and stuff too. But that's not that long of a time to leave that big of an impact to the point where everybody in the company and stuff is posting about him on his birthday and then again on the anniversary of the passing every year and all this stuff. Like that right there is kind of like the shows like how big of an impact he made on everybody, like to do that in such a short period of time. So
Yeah, yeah, and his family's still very involved as well, So it's like, you know, um, yeah. So let's move on. Talk
well, his
about
one kid's gonna tear it up
a
once
big
he
time.
turns 18. I
He's not.
mean,
He's not that
he
far,
he's so far ahead
Yeah,
of anybody at that age has ever been and stuff, and the amount of people he has behind him and helping him train him everything and stuff like um I mean, I've made a ton of jokes about like his first actual match in a 2CW show in what was it 23rd or is it
23.
2030? Um I
Oh,
think
oh yeah. When they,
January,
yeah,
yeah, like but just figuring out like the I mean that like we got to the point where I was just like, well, we have to, that has to be a show or whatever. That's honestly like part of the reason why I was just like, I'm not gonna say like
the next
there
reunion.
won't be another reunion show because like I don't know. It's a long time from now, but and who knows? He might be too busy at that point to take bookings outside of whatever his
Well, he
contract
might
might
be
be.
under contract, I believe, if when he hits 18. So
Yeah,
maybe
but
we'll have to be able to get permission. But Yeah,
It's,
Amanda.
I can say I've definitely mentioned it to Amanda and stuff too. So I mean, it's
Yeah, she
yeah.
posted about that. The
Mm.
next reunion should happen in 2030. So yeah, that's very interesting. And yeah, Brody. Not only does he get to train with some great trainers, but also like I saw the picture with him and John Cena. John Cena came and did some stuff with the school. John was
That
really
still
getting,
blows my mind.
yeah,
I mean, I like the the fact that like so like John Cena has showed up like with that, and then also like what he did with showing up to the thing that Bailey organized with all of the indie women for a weekend together, training together and stuff, and that like Bailey put it together, but then you get people showing up from like everybody, the Biancas, the Rias, the Charlotte, everybody's there and stuff, and like I think that's so cool. Like so many of those people, and like some of them came from the indies, some of them didn't. But they all like put their time into like spending a weekend with all these like girls who are grinding it on the indies and stuff that go down and get to learn from those people all weekend. And then oh, John Cena shows up too. Like
yeah.
I just like I just love to see that kind of like giving back type of thing and stuff, and actually like caring about like the next generation of people or people who might be ready to start stealing some spots or whatever the case is. That's not something we've always seen in wrestling or whatever, but like um big credit to the Baileys and the John Cenas and everybody else for all that stuff as of late. That's been really cool.
It's so funny that all that stuff took place, and then you hear WWE's like, we're not hiring anybody from outside the company for a while. It's like they kind of like put a freeze on the hiring, and I'm guessing that's more TKO doing it because TKO wants to make a profit. Can't make a profit if you have too many wrestlers. But the one thing I do want to talk about, some if we get around to it today, is the major up people getting called up, quote unquote, from NXT to Raw and SmackDown this past week. Let alone that's why I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of NXT people here in Rochester tomorrow when that show takes place. So,
They
which I
call
don't have a
people up on
problem
tape shows. Is that
with.
what happened?
Yeah.
Not my
Well,
favorite. We've had that discussion,
yeah,
but
yeah. I was gonna say, man, everything. Yeah, this past week you can just summarize by calling it the taped show week, because there was quite a few of them,
I
all of them.
I'm just want to say I am like that was a big topic on this show last week, and this week we got through a 2 hour dynamite and a 2.5 hour collision, and none of it was spoiled.
Nope,
None of it was spoiled, and I like a lot of people have other things going on this week and whatever too, but like that's a big difference from the conversation a week ago. So very happy that I was able to just watch those shows like they were live. That's the dream.
definitely. And why we were talking about it last week. It's because they spoiled the Carmelo Hayes thing that happened last night on SmackDown. Carmelo Hayes beating Ilya Dragunov for the what was it, the US, not the US, I can't remember, the Intercontinental title, I think,
I
or
don't
the US title, one of those. They're the same to me. They're like the lower title, or lower mid lower titles. But yeah, and so but that was like immediately spoiled because they taped everything Friday night last week. But um let's jump to let's jump to AEW's pay-per-view tonight. And man, I think the best thing they do every year now is this Continental Classic, man. What great matchups we get and surprises, and I mean, and I don't think losses hurt really as much. I mean, if you're the IWGP heavyweight, you're not going to lose. But beyond that, I don't think losses hurt a lot of the guys in the tournament. Maybe, and even Roddy came back and won one last night or yesterday. So was it yesterday? 2 days ago? Was it? It
it's
was.
all blur. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Third yeah, Christmas night.
I watched it yesterday though because it was like there was a lot going on. But we've got a great pay-per-view tonight that's going to settle everything, and we're going to have a Continental Championship eventually at the end of this. But man, just the tournament in general has just been gangbusters. It's no reason AEW has won so many awards for this past year for some of the their
There's a lot
rival.
of WWE troll diehards out there that are really upset about that whole list. But
Well, it's funny because they used to seem to have, Sports Illustrated tends to break things for WWE. So when I see stuff like that, I know that they have a relationship in which WWE PR guys can go, "Hey, Sports Illustrated, we don't want to put this on our webpage, but can you break this story for us? Make it like a press release or something. And that's how
Mhm.
they do it with all these other people. They know what's going
There's
on.
so
Don't
much
be
of that now
silly.
these days with
Yeah, there
giving
is.
stuff to one outlet and
Yeah.
as exclusively reported this morning by this outlet or whatever. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you told them.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
like we know
Yeah.
how that.
Thanks,
I
Pat.
mean,
U.S. title. Yeah. So yeah, they.
it's the way that we're. I mean, not like I haven't leaked something to the media on purpose and stuff before too. Like that's it's business, but like it's so like, oh my God, like this is such a big story that ESPN was the first to report it. The first to report, like they didn't do like investigative journalism here. Like they were sent an email,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. This is a
and they're
predetermined
like,
sport.
okay, we'll read this. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. But so SI, who's like in bed with WWE because they get those, little uh, advanced PR things. Gave them 10 winning 10 awards for it. So that alone is like, I think that's a great boost for AEW. Obviously Tony Khan took it as that, but we've got a great pay-per-view coming up this weekend tonight, and it's like I thought Darby Allin was in his deathbed until the end of until the end of the show when he showed up and took on Gabe Kidd. But there is so many stuff going on. So let's first of all mention that we got the Gold League winner Kyle Fletcher versus the Blue League runner-up John Moxley in one match, and that's Kyle Fletcher. That right there is like two bad guy factions taking each other on, which you gotta love. And then you got the other Blue League winner, Takeshita, taking on Gold League runner-up Okada, which they've been trying to do this. This has been something set up for months and months and months and months. And then after those two winners from those two ones turned into the finals of the Continental Classic for the AEW Continental Championship, which Okada won last year, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So that right there is enough for me to buy a pay-per-view right there. I mean, I don't need to see anything else, but I mean, there is a plenty beyond that. What do you think of like that to sell the pay-per-view? I mean, that especially because of how strong this tournament's been.
Yeah, I mean, I will say there are a lot of fans that are really disappointed that Okada and Takeshita is a semifinal match and not a final match. Um, I I see positives to that as well, and I certainly don't think like tonight is going to be it for their story and their feud and a series of matches and everything and stuff. I can't wait to watch that match. It's nice going into the pay-per-view. At least you know for a fact that that match is happening, which would have been the case regardless. I I'm actually surprised because like from what I'm hearing from people this week, like it seems like the general consensus is that Okada will win the whole tournament. I am absolutely 100% sticking with Takeshita on this. I think Takeshita beats Fletcher in the final. I think that. So obviously, like I'm not always like I appreciate what John Moxley does, 100%. It's just not my favorite personal part of the show, but that's fine. Um, that being said, like I think tonight's the night for Moxley to lose in the semis and have his faction turn on him. I think he's had all these losses as of late. He's the guy from the group that ended up getting into this final four. I just think that it's time for the Death Riders to turn on him and they can keep going as a faction. Obviously, Gabe Kidd is back in the mix now as well. Who knows if that's a one-off thing or not, but I'd like to see a little bit of like storyline kind of stuff like that tonight. Obviously, we're going to get a ton of really great wrestling. And this is again, I've said this so many times before, where I look at a pay-per-view card and I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to love this pay-per-view, but right now I'm kind of just this will be good. Like, because a lot of these are not first-time matches or not things that we just saw. They're matches that we've seen in the last month or so, or matches that just like seem a little predictable or whatever the case is. I do think there are some missing pieces from this card and stuff, and a little repetitiveness or whatever. But then when I just look at it from like the quality of wrestling that we will see on this, like it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
And at the top of that list is Takeshita and Okada for me. So
Yeah. So
um,
you did mention, that maybe it's time Moxley got turned. I remember that him and Claudio had that match where Claudio beat him, I think his only loss in this tournament was to Claudio. So, yeah, this could definitely, it'd be good. Mox has been out of like the main event, quote unquote, main event area, but he's still running his band of demon worshippers or whatever they are. They
The
I
rest of that group, I mean, I think can handle the group on their own. It'll make them better heels. If they turn on Moxley, the crowd will follow Moxley into babyface land. Like I just think it
yeah.
makes too much sense at this point. They've had a long run together. There's not really much more for Moxley to do with them other than to feud with them.
Well, I mean, think about
So
it. Kyle Fletcher, they steal the win with Don Callis, and that turns in maybe they could feud with the Callis family versus, Mox's family, you could go in that direction. I mean, when you have two heels against each other, it's like Moxley's closer to a babyface than Kyle Fletcher is, I think, I mean, they
it's
were,
tricky though because the fans love both of those guys.
yeah,
I mean, that's what I think. I would love to see out of this Final Four, like a little bit of that storyline with Moxley and his group. I also then you go from, I mean, you already have three of these four guys are in Don Callis family, and so one of the semifinal matches, Takeshi Okada, is Callis family versus Callis family, and then one of those two wins, and then we'll probably take on Don Callis family's Kyle Fletcher in the, and so like there's definitely an opportunity to do some storyline stuff there, with one of the guys leaving the group or the group getting involved and whatever, like the group falling apart. Like there's so many different things that you could do with this that I really hope it's not just wrestling match, wrestling match, wrestling match done. I would like to see some things kind of reset. I think this is also a good time. Like I don't consider World's End to be like the WrestleMania or anything, but it is the end of the year. There's some things that are wrapping up, and it's a chance to reset a lot because as far as we know, like there's some TV specials or whatever, but there's not another pay-per-view until March 15th. I mean, this is like I still don't understand how like AEW does like pay-per-views pretty much every month, and then they just go from December until Revolution, which used to be in February. Then it was into early March. Now it's March 15th. Like it keeps getting pushed back or whatever. Like that's a really long time without a pay-per-view for a company that the rest of the year does a pay-per-view every month or more. So it's a perfect time to start some new storylines, make some changes, like refresh things. I I do well, I won't jump ahead in the card, but I think there's at least one other major thing there that will shake things up. So
yeah. So let me go to I'm not sure if this is going to be on the preview card or not, but there's the mixed nuts mayhem match it's a mixed men and women. Maria Shafir, Pac, Claudio, and Wheeler Yuta versus Tony Storm, Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, and Roderick Strong. So you got to get them all on a show. I mean, Tony Storm obviously being a tag champ right now. No, yeah,
not
yeah,
a tag
not,
team.
not a tag champ, but they're trying to build up something with the tag champs right now. It looked like that they were trying to do that this past week on TV a little bit, but so they get that might be a pre-show match. I'm not sure exactly.
No.
No, not
There
is there
are
a
two
pre-show
pre-show
match?
matches announced, but
Oh,
that's
Julia Hart and Sky Blue versus Maya World and Hyan.
yes.
Yeah, I'm
Trying
sorry.
to remember what the other one is. But yeah, that's the mixed nuts is a main card thing, and I don't know, it does absolutely feel like all right, we got to get these people on the show. But I'm sure it'll be fun. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be like Anarchy in the Arena, crazy or anything. But I'm sure that's I mean that's quite a mix of people. So
Oh yeah, it's like well, half the people, one, two of two, three, four of them were
is it,
in the Continental Classic.
I thought Garcia was in that match. Is he not?
I don't know. Maybe he is, and I just didn't get. I got four people with Pac, Castronoli, Yuta, and Shafir. Tony
Oh,
Storm, Orange, Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, Roderick Strong. So the people that a bunch of those did not make it into the Continental Classics final. But it sounds like an interesting match. Obviously, the women tag in, women have to wrestle women, men wrestle men. But I'm sure that'll get thrown out a little bit because Marina Shafir beats up everybody, and so does Tony
That's what
Storm.
it. It is not Pac. Pac is not in the match, which I'm wondering if he's like now disappearing for a little bit again. Garcia's in that spot, but it is
Oh,
four on
really?
four. Yeah.
Oh man, I must have missed that on the update or something because Pac wrestled the other. He didn't get hurt or anything, did he?
No, I'm just guessing it's another one of his like I'll be back soon kind of. I don't know. I hopefully if they do some kind of a if they're actually somehow, I mean, I'm just kind of manifesting this, but if there's some kind of turn or something tonight that he would be a part of that too. But yeah, he's it's Garcia that's in the match itself. So
Yeah. So
um but we have gotten to see a couple of the black arrows and stuff in recent weeks, so that's been nice.
there you go. Willow Nightingale, Harley Cameron versus Mercedes Moné and Athena for the AEW Women's Tag Team title, which also was the finals, I believe, for the Women's Tag Team Tournament. And so,
No,
no, it's not. No, that wasn't the finals.
that
You're
was
right.
Tony and
I forgot that.
Mia.
I forgot Monet got freaking thrown out early. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
they lost their only match in it. Yeah, and this is kind of I mean, there's again, this could be good for storyline purposes and stuff because certainly don't expect the Babes of Wrath to drop the titles on their first defense. Obviously, that's very strong competition with two very uh, currently accomplished singles wrestlers in the women's division, both holding world titles and everything else and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what if it's a Mercedes and Athena breakdown or what happens there. But yeah, I mean Willow and Harley are getting more and more over by the day.
Oh,
So
they're awesome.
also just quickly to mention that women's tag on the pre-show.
Yeah.
Um, awesome to see Maya World and High End getting that getting a match on a pay-per-view. I mean, granted it's a pre-show, but like that is a pretty big deal, and I wouldn't be shocked to see either an upset there or a signing there or something. I mean, I think they're really high on and Maya World, and high on's somebody specifically who has a ton of. She's not originally from Chicago, but like that in Texas, but maybe Chicago is like her main like place she's made her name and stuff. So there could be a cool moment there. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if there's some upset Nixon Newells and Miranda Alizé's watching somebody else getting an all elite graphic or something tonight. So
Ooh,
we'll
very
see.
interesting. So you do. I don't know if you were watching. Was it on Christmas Day after Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron won? They kind of sat down and did a little Christmas wish for everybody, which I thought that was neat. They gave them some time after the match to work the crowd a little bit. I thought that was pretty cool. We also,
I mean, I never thought we would be at the point too where like again, I'm obviously not the biggest Ariel Helwani guy, but he is a Bills fan, so there is that. But like, I never thought we'd be at the point where Harley Cameron would be a guest in studio with him, which happened this week and was cool. I'm such a big fan of like I've said, like I met Harley that one time or whatever, and it was just like such a like this is such a cool person. Like that I just immediately was like, all right, like I hope she improves and stuff. Like she's like I'm rooting for her now at this point and stuff. And like it was a fun interview that broke out some of that ventriloquism and stuff too.
she's like, well, she's like a star that could be on TV and kind of make their way to to wrestling. They're one of the loves they have. So
I would not be shocked at all if she is one of the wrestlers that ends up transitioning to Hollywood or other things at some point or doing both. She's got so many skills. It's
yeah,
insane.
yeah, I would agree. I think anybody who can come up with a ventriloquism act with Monet. So I think just some really neat stuff. So. Speaking of tag titles, we also have FTR versus Austin Gunn and Juice Robinson in a Chicago street fight for the AEW tag titles. Do we see it? Do we see them take the titles finally? Because FTR, they've
Are you
they've been
asking me what I
over
want or
stuff.
what's going to happen?
Well, what's going to happen?
No, I don't think they're taking the tag titles.
Yeah,
I I would like to see it. I really would. I love the work that I mean, in general, like the entire Bang Bang gang, if they were actually ever all healthy, I'm just a big fan of all those guys as wrestlers. And I think Juice and Austin have come together pretty well. And I'm just kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of bored with FTR. It's nothing against them, but like we've seen what they can do and everything. And I don't know. I mean, this is the FTR has obviously had some absolutely insane matches. Immediately first think of like the Briscoes trilogy and stuff, but like um, a a Hoffman Estates Illinois street fight, as I will call it. Um, that could favor the Bang Bang Gang. So I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like FTR retains
Well, it's
here.
finally they acknowledge also in this build up that Juice is married to is married to Tony Storm, which I've never thought they really talked about that before. But
It's been acknowledged a little bit here and there, but probably more like backstage interviews or YouTube specials or something. Yeah, it's not something that they focus on by any means.
definitely, but they definitely brought it up in the battle of the words. So that's awesome. That and like we've got three matches in the Continental Classic. We already talked about them, but they're probably going to be interspersed amongst these ones we're talking about now. But there's beyond that, there's only two on left, and we got Chris Statlander and Jamie Hayter for the AEW Women's Championship, which I want both of them to win, but it's impossible. You can't have both win. But it was a nice little stand, face to face they had this past week. I thought, and it's basically the champ telling the contender, what they need to do to be able to be champion. I thought that was pretty neat. I thought that that definitely built this up. So what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think those are two of the best wrestlers in the world today, and I think the match has so much potential to. I mean, that could theoretically be a show stealing match. Statlander hasn't had too many defenses at this point. I'm kind of surprised that I think she's only had like one TV defense, and then there's been some pay-per-view stuff, whatever. But like, um, I mean, she's had that for what, 3 months or so, and I don't feel like it's time for her to drop it yet. But I also would love to see Hayter return to the top at some point, maybe not yet. Um, I don't know. I still kind of just I don't have the same Jamie Hayter's so good.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like there's the same vibe around her as there was before she had gotten injured. And I don't know if that's through any fault of her own. Um, I don't know if like the look changed, like it's not like she really has like a different personality on camera or anything at this point, but it just doesn't feel like if this match was happening like a few years ago, I feel like the crowd would be all in on Hater. And now, like maybe it's more stat. I don't know. But either way, I mean these are like I said, two of my favorite wrestlers in the world, and I'm happy they're wrestling each other. I expect a successful title defense, but I think it's gonna be a hard hitting affair that'll be fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hater's more got this glam thing going on, and so it's like a little bit different from the nuts and bolts rough build up
It's
for
crazy to me because I don't know what it is. But like Hater, thinking back to like you've got current Hater, which I don't know, always makes me think like 70s Hater
yeah,
or
yeah,
a little bit of like I don't know why Scooby Doo pops in my head.
yeah.
I don't know what that is. But like you have the most successful version of Hater when she was women's world champ and everything, but then you go back and like see her stuff from like the indies or like the first year of AEW doing some stuff or whatever. And like each of these like eras, like she looks like a completely different person. Like I don't know if I've ever seen a wrestler that like you almost don't even recognize from like era to era when you see a picture of them. Like there's something just so different. But and so maybe that's plays some kind of subconscious role where I feel like I can't be the only one that just like looks at her now and just be like, is this the same one that
No,
was
you're right. She
like
definitely has a different look, that's for sure,
and so maybe it's not like maybe subconsciously for people like watching it, it might be this could be a stretch, but like watching and be like, oh well, like if she looked exactly the same, then my memory would be like, oh, remember this match and stuff, and like she's this killer and like all this stuff. But now it's like, is this a new person? Like I don't really like it's like she almost doesn't get credit for like the previous eras or something. Cause like a lot of times I'm just like, is this the same person? I
Yeah.
don't know. That's not fair, but
Oh,
I think tonight could be a big night for her to get another level up toward trying to get back to where she was, before that really long layoff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she blew her knee out, and then she blew her knee out again or something. I remember it was like it was just
It was
bad.
a long time that she
It
was out.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we got the main event, which will be one of the main events. It may not be the main event, but it might be the one after the Continental Classic Finals, or it might
I
be
think it'll be the
before
main
it.
event.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, Hangman Page, and MJF four-way for the AEW World Championship. I mean Swerve, I'm rooting for Swerve or Hangman, neither of those guys, but MJF becomes a wild card after last week, or a week ago. Um I don't know who to call on this one, who they want to continue on as champ. I mean, Samoa Joe really just got the title. It hasn't been, he hasn't had that long, has he? It's like do you
See,
take
has he even had it long enough to have also defended his trios title at all during this entire reign? Probably not.
Probably not, because they had
I
a
don't think so.
pay-per-view back in the beginning of the month, right? And that's where it happened, in the cage. So I don't know what's going to happen in this, but I have a feeling MJF's going to steal it because he's back, and it's like if that's the case, I don't know. I mean, poor Hangman spends all that time building up and having a great run at it, and then it just gets taken away. But you figure the guy who gets screwed out of it will get it back eventually. But man, I would hate to see MJF take it. Well, what do you think in this match? I mean, who do you feel they're going with, and we're going to see as the champ for 2026? Since it'll be the next time we talk after this. So
It's so yeah, like, just looking back at it, it's only been a month and 5 days
okay,
since Joe won it, and he's only had one defense, which was against Eddie Kingston. Um, it's I think we've gotten into too much of the long title reigns for everybody kind of thing. Like there's like I said, I don't want it to go back to like Attitude Era where it switches on a pay-per-view and then it switches on Raw again the next night and everything, or switches twice in one night and here's David Arquette. But like, I don't want to get back to those days with title changes, but I still feel kind of weird about Joe winning a month ago. Um, Partially because I just hate like how irrelevant the trios titles are at this point. And to try again, maybe to make those seem important is going to be tough. Um, so this is like, it makes sense to me that these four guys are in the match. They are top guys that have all been AEW World Champion and are main eventers. You could make a case for any of the four of them winning. So I think it makes sense that this is the match that's booked. But for me, it's also kind of like, I know there's probably not a best choice for this right now, but like I look forward to whoever is the next person to win that title for the first time. I enjoy that so much more. Um, I agree that I think MJF wins it. I think this is the reset for that. I think that's how you immediately reestablish MJF as a very top guy in your company. He comes back and takes the title back. I don't think Hangman needs it back. I feel like it doesn't seem like the right time for Swerve to get it back. I feel like you got to build that up more and make it seem like a bigger deal whenever that day does come. And Joe just doesn't need it. I think it's fine to keep that as a short reign. So I expect MJF to win. And I don't know. I could see Joe finding a way to steal the win. There's a lot of ways you could book that, but I just don't want to see that. And I don't really give any chance to Hangman or Swerve in this.
you don't think Hook's going to come in and get involved somehow? Or the other guys,
Uh, I no, it definitely could happen. It definitely could happen. I just don't like. I mean, MJF is a heel, but obviously he's the type of heel that the crowd loves to see, even if it's they love to boo him, whatever. Um, I don't. I just feel like it's not the right move to keep it on Joe. I don't think the. I don't think people want to see that. Even like, I don't think people want to hate see that. Like, I don't know. I think it's a good time to reset. Let MJF. It's not like he's have a ton of pay-per-view matches to defend. Like he can go through these next few months, kind of like maybe like here's special Dynamite defense or whatever. Here's a lot of him talking week after week, whatever, build it up to a big match in March. Um, but yeah, I think MJF takes it back tonight. And that's one of the things talking about, like the kind of resetting some things here tonight to go into the new year. I feel like that's the you end the night with that.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, the next pay-per-view is not until March. So whoever's got to be champ is going to have to lead the company into the new year. MJF seems like a perfect guy. You know,
I didn't even think of it. So
yeah.
I'm just thinking about this now because the next pay-per-view is March 15th, which I mentioned in LA, which happens to be a landmark birthday for me that I don't want to think about. But then I also think about how, just thinking about it now, that means it's also a landmark birthday for a wrestler who was born on my 10th birthday, whose name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. So
Oh,
that is going to be on his 30th birthday. I don't know.
interesting.
We could build something up with him for a match for that night. But yeah, MJF takes it. MJF holds it till probably past March.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, there we go. We broke down the pay-per-view. And that, and we'll see what happens. It's worth watching tonight, man. If you got some, there's football on, but we're at the end of the season,
I don't love a pay-per-view being this weekend because it's prelims of the World Junior Hockey Championship. But at least the US plays at 6, so that and Canada's got an earlier game today. So it could be worse, but
yeah,
not my favorite.
You think about this. If you're going to go to the WWE show, you get a pay-per-view tonight, and then you get to go see a WWE show tomorrow. Hopefully the blizzard stopped. I think it's done, but we had no snow on Christmas, and then what do we get the day after? Man, it just downpours here, man. It's just been a mess out there.
Yeah, tomorrow's gonna be interesting. I hope Saquon doesn't run for like 250 yards, but I could see it happening. So
There you
we'll see
go.
how tomorrow goes.
So I'm gonna go through some news, and then we'll like talk about some of the things I highlighted in the beginning while I go through some news. But if you're going to watch SmackDown next week, that's the debut for 3 hours in Buffalo. So if you're going to Buffalo, this is what you're gonna get at least on the card for next week. Pardon me, I don't mean to clear my throat, but I did. So you're going to get Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Lash Legend, and Nia Jax in an 8 women's tag match. That's one. Remember, this is a 3-hour show.
Is this for like $500,000 or?
There's no money involved, I don't think.
Mm.
But I think the winner of that gets to take on gets to, I don't know. The champs are in there, so it's got to be for the belt. Asuka and Kairi Sane. It's got to be for the women's title. Women's champion Jade Cargill is taking on Mishin in a non-title when Jade's going to be wrestling tomorrow here in Rochester. Damian Priest versus Aleister Black. I don't know why it's taking so long to get to this point, but these two guys have, been sabotaging each other. Blah blah blah. SmackDown will be live on Friday from Buffalo, KeyBank Center, 3-hour show again. What it means is I'll be watching the 3rd hour while I'm doing prep for the show Saturday morning. Oh, wait a second. We may not have a show next week. And the only reason I'm doing that is because we have a roller derby juniors tournament in which I'm the head announcer this weekend. And I have to book the 12 games. I have to staff them with people. And the ones I don't staff with means I've got to do. So I'm going to be doing a few games. I got a bunch of staff people to do it, but I'm going to be, so now I don't think we're going to have a show next week. So I might get to take a week off. Either that or I'll do it. I was going to say, it starts Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But Friday I can't really. Oh, yes, I could. We could tape Friday night if that works for anybody. It'd be like Friday, like 9 o'clock, 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So I'll keep that up in the air right now, but we may not have a show next week. So, and there's no way I'm going to SmackDown unless I get free tickets. So that definitely is another thing. So January 8th, they also promoted that SmackDown's going to be in Berlin, and we're going to get Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre in a 3 stages of hell match. What is the 3 stages? Is that when they put the cages on top of each other? I don't remember.
No, I think it's just 3 different gimmicks. I don't think it's the triple cage ready
Is
to
one where they have the
rumble.
weapons on the sides of the cage and stuff? And I can't remember. I don't know.
Jimmy
But
King and
yeah,
Diamond
that's
Dallas
right.
Page.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
think it's that. I hope it's that, but I don't think it's
they
that.
tried to do that. Remember, they tried to do
Mm.
that with Jeff Jarrett, and it was like they had the third little cubicle on top of the cages. It was terrible.
Mm.
I hope that's not it, but that's what Cody. That's what
I hope it is. Maybe I'll watch it if that's the case.
get Jimmy King to show up.
Ooh.
So
He will rule you.
yeah, that's right. It was so last night on SmackDown, we found out that Trick Williams has moved to SmackDown. Is now it's funny they call these guys free agents, though they've been on NXT for years and years and years, and now they're quote unquote free agents. So Trick Williams is, and they started last night's SmackDown show with Joe Henry singing a song to The Miz, and then they end up having a 34th Street, what the heck they call it, 34th Street. It's the first time they've had it in a few years. It was basically a match where everything was legal and la la la. They had presents and Christmas trees and Santa Claus, and I don't know why the Easter Bunny was there, but the Easter Bunny was there too. And a street fight, 35th Street, 34th Street street fight. I don't know. It's kind of like a Miracle on 34th Street, which is a Christmas movie, which they're trying to relate to, but. So they had Joe Henry start off singing a song to The Miz. So Joe Henry obviously is a SmackDown guy, and I heard that USA wants Joe Henry on SmackDown, and so that's where he's going to show up. So there's two people who have kind of been called up officially to the main roster, SmackDown Raw or whatever. Lash Legend's another one who is now been called up. So you're getting a lot of these NXT people who obviously there's a lot of guys in NXT who could be on the main roster, could have been signed directly to the main roster, but they feel that they got to go down to NXT for a little bit before they can, maybe introduced that way and then brought up. Remember, Rob, when AJ Styles got signed and he didn't want to go to NXT, and then they because he was established enough on a show, he did not need to be starting over again. And they probably would have given.
Yeah, he had curtain jerked 2CW a month before.
That's right. In fact, I was looking at the pictures because we just had that 10th year anniversary on that, and we had a bunch of pictures of AJ Styles there, and that was great. And the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, and there's some guys who have been Me Too'd out of wrestling that were in there too at the time. But
I can only think of one.
oh, one. Okay, so there was.
I don't know if we're both thinking of the same person, but
yeah, probably. Yeah. There's one. Definitely got pictures with them, so I definitely saw that. But so these guys are all getting those were a handful that were called up this past week, or within the last week or two. But Lash Legends, losing to Charlotte Flair last night after beating Alexa Bliss the week before. Lash being the girlfriend of Trick Williams doesn't surprise me that both of them show up on SmackDown. So kudos, but those are some of the people that I was kind of mentioning got called up this past week. I kind of hinted to at the beginning of the show. There's probably more that I'm missing. I'm trying to think of what. There's like last night in SmackDown. There's a couple of people who are like seconding people now that are coming out. Like Lash is seconding Nia Jax. But there's a handful more out there that so don't be surprised. They said there's going to be an influx of NXT up, and obviously Carmelo Hayes winning the title from Ilya Dragunov last night. That for sure is the U.S. title there. That it's kind of making Carmelo Hayes, though he's been up for a year at least. So, but it's interesting that Trick Williams is up there too, because both of those guys were paired together in NXT for a while, before Carmelo moved up. Just some interesting thoughts there going on. So, some other news: Dominic Mysterio appears to be dealing with a potential significant injury coming out of last weekend's AAA Guerra de Titanes main event in Guadalajara. The bout saw Dominic team with El Grande Americano against his father and Ray Phoenix, and it looks like they said that he had suffered a shoulder injury near the end. Hopefully, Dominic, being on, is that the WWE 2025 video game curse, because he's like the guy in the middle of the front of the box? Could be, I don't know. But right now he's a bad person, and it's bad for him to lose because he gets heel heat, and he gets some like mega heel heat Not quite. Gunther got some mega heel heat too, just because of the John Cena match. But hopefully Dominic's okay. It's interesting. Tony Khan addressed what's happening with Warner Brothers Discovery, and he did when he was doing a question and answer about the AEW Worlds End pay-per-view. He said that they're locked with TNT, TBS, and HBO Max for over 2 more years. So he says, doesn't matter what happens, that's going to be. And so if Netflix does buy Warner Brothers and stuff, they still have a solid contract for 2 more years. But it really could. I mean, who knows? I mean, there's probably outs on everything, I'm guessing. I don't know. But right now, Netflix, is gotten I guess they get to negotiate now exactly the buying. They're kind of like, exclusive, but someone tried to come in, Paramount tried to come in and like give them more money and tried to do like a takeover by buying out the stockholders of Warner Brothers Discovery, and they call that what do they call it? Something takeover. But yeah, I'm not sure where that stands right now as it is, but someone threw like $40 billion into the deal. And so nothing is set for sure. And Netflix definitely does not have control over Warner Brothers Discovery, because I think they got like 18 months to negotiate this. So yeah, I think Tony Khan and AEW should be fine under their current deal, which, he did say pretty much that. When we on AEW's Christmas show this past week, Kyle O'Reilly appeared in a backstage segment with Roderick Strong and talked about he has a few health problems, bulging disc and an arm fracture that happened. He had that match with Moxley, that violent match with Moxley, and so he's been dealing with those injuries. And now, when they say him on TV, I don't know how legit they are. Rob, do you think that he hasn't wrestled, so I mean that's for sure, but.
Yeah, I don't know the extent of it necessarily, but I know he's legitimately out right now. So, and I mean, like you said, like he hasn't had a match since that pay-per-view a month and 5 days ago. So, I don't know. I mean, it there's not as much to read into that, I feel like, in the last month, because that's the one drawback I feel like about Continental Classic, is that you've got to get these 12 people in matches every week, and so a lot of other people just kind of disappear for the time being and stuff, and they've found ways to still kind of work him in and stuff. But yeah, I hopefully it's not a major thing. He's obviously somebody who's already missed a lot of his career from
He had
injury.
neck fusion surgery, but he won that match too. He got the win over Moxley. So if you remember it well, so we think Kyle O'Reilly is an excellent wrestler, and I love his submission game too. I mean, that really always a good thing about him is that he always could go to any submission move if he had to, and I like that about his style, because he also is just a great athlete too. So hopefully it doesn't keep.
I have mixed feelings about him being like a comedic character, because he has that like killer submission specialist, like hard strikes, kicks, whatever. Like, but obviously he's got like a personality outside of all of that stuff too. But yeah, hopefully he'll be good to go soon. I don't know.
Remember Red Dragon? Oh man, wasn't that long ago, So we did talk about briefly last week about Sports Illustrated giving AEW all these awards. They gave them 10 pro wrestling awards. I'm going to go through all of them because we didn't really talk about every single one of them, but they got Promotion of the Year. They got Female Wrestler of the Year with Mercedes Moné, Male Wrestler of the Year, Hangman Page, Tag Team of the Year, FTR, Best in Ring, Will Ospreay. There's no doubt about that. Best on Mic, Timeless Tony Storm, Breakout Wrestler of the Year, Kyle Fletcher, Storyline of the Year, Hangman Page, Redemption Arc. Without a doubt. Rivalry of the Year, Hangman Page versus John Moxley, which Hangman Page has had quite a few rivalries. I think Swerve is a bigger one, but that may have been the year before. Show of the Year, AEW Double or Nothing. So those were the awards that Sports Illustrated gave to AEW. And maybe someone in WWE has a better, John Cena obviously should have an award for, suffering through a year of the bad storylines and whatnot. But I think that's great for AEW where, it's like, it definitely has them, they can hang their hat on something, at the end of the year that they were in equal competition with WWE about. And so, or any of the other companies out there. So kudos to them. I think that's great. WWE is about to get stranger. They announced on WWE on Netflix that Stranger Things is in its the end, and they have 4 episodes left, and then there's no more, and they kind of are dominating Netflix right now. So WWE is falling out of the top 10 again for ratings, but they're going to do a crossover Monday, January 5th with the 1 year anniversary of WWE joining Netflix. And I don't know exactly what that means. But they might have, I have no idea, to be honest with you, what that means, but maybe they'll just put Stranger Things on the mat and say that's their crossover right there and have the lights flash or something. I don't know. But I see Stranger Things everywhere and all these commercials, like all the like Target turns into like the upside down or whatever they call it. So I still haven't watched any of the last 4 ones yet because I'm saving it for this week coming up, or and when I'm have nothing better to do. But it is a good show. I definitely think it's but sometimes if I'm not absolutely awake, I fall asleep, and you guys know that because of the 3rd hour of wrestling shows. So some other news: Anna Jay's contract's coming to an end sometime early next year. Anna Jay has offers from other places apparently, or has people that she can talk to that work at other places. I don't know. Hopefully Anna Jay does not go anyplace. But Anna Jay's been off TV for a while. So
Yeah, there's a lot of people that still like it's still kind of weird how her and Ty just got kind of bounced from that tournament after being like the established women's tag team for years in that company, and for Anna to just be off TV kind of since then is strange as well. So I don't know. I could see her going elsewhere. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
yeah, the thing that is if you a lot of times they'll take them off TV if their contract's ending, whether they come back or not, or a lot of times if they want to keep them, then they don't stay off long. And she's been off for a month now, so I don't know. I don't know what that says, but who knows? Maybe Anna Jay is an experienced wrestler and could do a good job anywhere. So kudos. Let's see what happens. I'm hoping that Anna Jay stays, and then we get her and Ty back tagging, and maybe go for those tag titles. I don't know. I mean, there's
They should hold those belts at some point. They really should.
yeah, there's a place for her. So, long rumored Hulk Hogan documentary project is officially moving forward at Netflix. Uh, Netflix Vice President of Sports Gabe Spitzer confirmed that a docu-series centered on the WWE Hall of Famer is among the streaming giant's upcoming slate. The Hogan Project was mentioned alongside documentary plans focusing on other major sports icons, including Mike Tyson, Deion Sanders. News of the series surfaced again following Hogan's death in July, when Puck News reported that the project had already been in development for some time. According to the reports, work on the Hogan docuseries began in 2024, with significant amounts of footage captured before his passing. And now they're back to it, so they're probably talking with family members and stuff. But yes, remember Hulk Hogan did die this past year. That's still kind of a shock, that's kind of like one of the biggest pieces of news that I think happened in the past year in wrestling, because nobody would suspected, especially when he was in Rochester, in March, promoting his beer. It's just shocking. Much like we were talking about Brodie Lee, John Huber there, how he had started in March and unfortunately was gone by December. So, and Hogan, he did die mid-documentary there for Hulk Hogan, who was 71 when he passed away. And who knows, we will see something from Netflix on that real soon. WWE is changing up their commentary teams going into 2026. Michael Cole and Corey Graves will team up on Raw, Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett on SmackDown, which I believe is what was started last year. They kind of switched them around a lot. When people take vacation, all of a sudden Joe Tessitore is on every show. Wade Barrett seems to float around too, when Corey Graves was like in the little heat there. when Pat McAfee was still there. Corey Graves was gone, and when Pat McAfee left, Wade Barrett floated around between two shows for a while. But I don't know if the commentators really bring me to the show as much anymore. I mean, because they're fluent. They're the same guys. You're hearing the same thing that they, either group would have said on any show because they're fed the lines from Triple H in a earpiece or whatever. A lot of the things that they focus on.
I mean, all I'll say is, as a commentator who appreciates commentary more or judges it more than most people, in sports, in wrestling, whatever, there are very few people commentating who will make me tune into something just for commentary sake, but there are some people who will make me not tune into something because I don't want to hear them. So, but none of those people are on either of those lists. So
I gotcha. I
yeah,
gotcha.
they're
I
all
know.
just there.
I know what you mean. So, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, interesting. So we'll see what happens going in the new year. But the WWE's Netflix 1 year anniversary is the 5th of January. So that should be a special show. Who knows? We're gonna, we already talked about what's going to be on. I think you're going to get CM Punk taking on. I can't remember who it is now. He's definitely got a match to start the new year. Man, I don't know. I had it last week on there. It's just because we haven't seen CM Punk in a while. So hold on. Let me move to
Is he
something.
in a tag team with Saudi Arabia against somebody?
Egad. Seth Rollins talked about that in an interview this week, and he talked about how he used the term blood money in the interview. So it was like
Wow. All right.
Seth Rollins also. I don't know if you were watching on football this on Christmas Day, but he was at the Detroit game. And he was sitting on the panel, and it was very interesting because it's like Netflix. I know that Seth has been part of the NFL networks. He was a couple times a week. He was sat on their panel on their morning show because he's injured, and he did talk about his injury and about how it's like he's got 3 or 4 months of rehab now once the new year starts, so he may not make it for WrestleMania, but he's been he talked about it, and he talked about how how some people wouldn't work when they went to Saudi Arabia, and he did bring it up a bit. So if
Yeah, I mean, I saw a screenshot of him on whatever Good Morning Football or whatever yesterday with his John Huber T-shirt on. So props to him for that.
there you go. He had this white suit on Christmas Day. It was just bizarre. I mean, they were all wearing. It was a whiteout game, so everybody was wearing white. So he had this white.
Apparently, the Eagles are wearing white tomorrow in Buffalo against the Bills in red, and so this is so off topic, but obviously, I hate the Philadelphia Eagles more than any other pro sports team. I really hate their midnight green. I love when they wear the Kelly green. How are they not wearing green against the Bills in red tomorrow in a color rush game? If the Bills are busting out the Reds on Christmas weekend in a snowy game, and why would you not have the Eagles wear green tomorrow? They're wearing white jerseys and black pants or something lame.
I don't like that. I don't even like the colored jerseys either most of the time.
I don't really like
Buffalo,
the red jerseys.
If Buffalo's at home, wear white, and then make them wear green. That's how it should be.
If Buffalo is in a football game, stop the run tomorrow. Please stop the run. For the love of God, I do not have a good feeling about tomorrow.
Well, I heard I've for a while they were talking about because the Bills still have a chance to win that division. It's just that they got to hope that the Jets in Miami can beat New England. And New England just got to
win. The Jets certainly are not doing it.
Yeah,
that tomorrow or whatever.
So the New England just needs to win one game and they clinch. So Josh doesn't really need to play. I mean, he might know because they're a 4:00 game tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So and they could know by game time that there's no way they're going to win the division. They already have clinched a spot because of something that happened on Christmas Day. Was it the Denver Broncos winning? I can't remember which team it was, but one of the teams won and they clinched a spot. It
was the Monday night game.
Was it Monday?
Colts lost.
That's right. Oh, I feel bad for them because you lose your quarterback and you can't win a game. But they're going to be in the playoffs whether they win or lose to Philadelphia. It's just that they want a division. Is that they're like 2 games behind with 2 games to go, or 1 game behind with 2 games to go. So I'd rather him sit Josh if he was hurt, especially after that tackle that he twisted his ankle in the end zone against Cleveland, which was a terrible game to watch, by the way. I mean, Cleveland always has a great defense, so it makes sense that it was that close, but man, it shouldn't have been. So,
Well, I mean, the results could make a difference in terms of the opponent for like a wild card game that is getting a higher seed a good thing? Not necessarily. Got to see how that all plays out, but you might actually not want to win, depending on if that means like you get to pay the Steelers instead of like the Jaguars, or how that all like shakes out, whatever with everything. But
I think that
yeah, I
this
don't know.
that one thing is the Jaguars would have to come here if they played no, no, they'd have to go
No,
there. Okay,
no.
let's we don't want to see that
Yeah,
happen.
where the I don't even, is there a chance of the, unless the, unless like the Bills can
Win out.
beat the Patriots for the division, which I mean, again, is so unlikely. Um, they're going to be on the road, so
Okay.
which
Well,
is really a shame. There's not
so
going to be
this
a home playoff game this season of all seasons,
they've got
but
two games left in that stadium in Highmark Stadium, and the last game's against the Jets, right? Or no, again,
and
yeah,
that, well, yeah, and that's like, is the last game in that stadium going to be a meaningless game against the terrible Jets? Like, ugh, that's a shame if that's what ends up happening. There's a very good possibility of that, but
yeah, man. So much weighs on this next two games, but I thought
but I
that
mean, tomorrow is big for the Eagles, so
yeah,
I expect it'll be a. I hope it's a good game. I don't have a good feeling.
yeah. Well, just remember when they played Baltimore this year, and they had that dominant runner that's had a huge game against them, and they still lost. I mean, so Saquon could have a great game against the Bills, and they could still lose. So
Yeah.
stuff happens. But you said if it's over 200 yards, I don't know, I don't want to go there. So.
Uh,
Yeah. So some other news, and we're going to get out of here. Andrade El Idolo, sorry,
yeah, I got
has
it right the first time.
yeah, he's definitely he's free. He's a free agent now. He went to the right lawyer, and his 1 year non-compete has been canceled. And so now the question, and he did show up, was a GCW 2 weeks ago. No, no,
House of Glory.
that's what it was. He showed up someplace a couple weeks ago. So the question is does AEW want to bring him back now? I mean, he's now a free agent. He can come back. I mean,
I don't know. I had mixed feelings about that when he did come back. But he is a solid wrestler. I think if you bring him back again now, which I kind of still expect, but I don't know. I would not make it a big lights out, pull the mask off thing again. Like just announce him or something at that point. I don't know. I don't think you need to go through that whole thing again.
yeah, I know, especially when it looked like they made a mistake and he didn't show up again, completely erased after that appearance. And to me, that's like, oops, I guess we didn't look too deep into if you could be here or not.
The
Uh,
whole thing's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then usually teams and usually, guys, I mean, you can take their word for it, but you want to see it in paper. You want to see a signed piece of paper saying you can't, because that's exactly what happens. You show up, you kind of make a little bit of a little bit, got some attention, and you can't show up. You weren't supposed to. And WWE is like, oh, you better not. You're still, but the thing was, apparently he was on a 1 year non-compete, but he wasn't being paid. So that you get out of that easily if you're not being paid. I assumed he was being paid, and that's why they had to stop that. But he was not being paid. So when you're in a non-compete, which is and you can't make a living, that's completely illegal. You can't say you can't wrestle for anybody else, and we're not paying you anymore. You know,
Yeah, that's not you have to get paid for that. So,
Even if it's the low side minimum, or whatever they used to call it, the downside, they don't even pay based on house shows because they don't have them anymore. But except for in Rochester tomorrow, but in Syracuse on when's Syracuse? Is it on Saturday? Next Saturday? It's like on the first, I think, or second. But yeah, they yeah, you have that, so you can fight that easily. But if you're getting paid, that's different, completely different. If you're like waiting on a no compete and you're getting money still, And I've talked, I mean, I remember when Brodie was doing that, and I asked him, and I think he still was getting paid, even when he was on when he had to sit that 3 extra months because of his injury stuff that had happened with WWE. So,
Yeah,
um,
I mean that's usually how that kind of thing works, and then also there could be correlations with timing of how long you get paid and if you sign a non-disclosure as well or something. Like there's a lot of different things factor into that, but there's no, he's not like, oh, you got to sit at home for a year and not get paid. Like that's not going to fly.
oh no,
Absolutely
yeah,
not.
because then you have to go on welfare, okay? Because you're not getting any
You
money.
can't restrict somebody like that. But then again, there's a person who used to work for, well, every company, but most recently AEW, who went on another one of her Twitter rants, claiming that it's AEW's fault, Tony Khan's fault, Daniel Bryan's fault, all these people's fault that she couldn't get to see her mother
On
for
Christmas. Yeah, yeah,
Christmas.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, every time I wish somebody would just take away the internet, the World Wide Web from one Sarah Stock. You're an idiot, Sarah.
Wasn't she like dating Cesaro at one time? I thought wasn't that's why she got her in with
No,
oh, I thought she was.
he's with Sarah Del Rey.
That's right, Sarah Del Rey. I get the name wrong.
Uh,
So Sarah Stock, who used to wrestle for and TNA at one time as
yeah.
well. Yeah, yeah, and she was
And
a
then she worked
trainer.
for WWE, and then she worked for AEW, like all the behind the scenes stuff. And
Yeah, she had to,
now she's just an absolute complete idiot on
yeah.
Twitter, saying stupid things and disrespecting people, and
How could
can't
Brian
stand her.
Danielson have anything that's what I was confused by. I don't know.
Well, everybody's trying to figure out like what she means by that. Like you got fired from AEW like 8 months ago, but apparently these people are preventing you from seeing your mom on Christmas. Um, well, it's not like they made you be at an AEW show instead. Not like there was an AEW show instead. The only thing that I can think of is that she's blaming something related to entering and exiting the country on no longer having like a, whether it's an AEW sponsored visa or something like that. But like, do you expect them to keep sponsoring you 8 months after they fired you because you're an idiot? Um, I don't know. And I mean, she does have a criminal record as well, which could impact things, with borders and customs and things like that. But again, not the fault of an AEW or a WWE or a
Wow.
TNA or anybody
It's
else.
funny. It's after I read that it reminded me of the times that I used to work on the holidays in radio, in which I was part. I was when I was full time. Those were the hours I had to work,
Yep.
and so so I mean that does
And
happen.
that was when you had to work because you worked there.
Yeah,
And but this person is claiming that the place she used to work is preventing this, which is just cry me a river.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I did not put that on the list just because I kind of
She blocked me on Twitter months ago, but I still creep to see some of her stuff once in a while because I hate her.
okay.
Yeah.
Hate's a strong word, but yeah, I get that.
Yeah, no, it is. It's
Yeah.
very it was like my dad's favorite quote. And there's very few people on that list, but I fine. I can't stand her.
Okay,
Hate
there
is
you.
a strong word.
Yeah, it is. So some other news.
She just needs to shut up.
Shut up, Sarah. All right. Congratulations in order for WWE Hall of Famer Rob Van Dam. He surfaced on Friday evening to inform that his fans, he and his wife, Katie Forbes, have welcomed two new twin babies to the world. Karma and Saba have officially left the womb. That's how he described it. Van Dam wrote via his official X account, along with a date of birth, December 26th. So it was not a 25th baby, not a Christmas baby. Close enough, though. Congratulations, Rob. I know he was at the Saturday night main event that John Cena retired in not that long ago. Him and his wife were there, so they showed him briefly in the crowd when John was slapping hands with everybody. So kudos, Rob Van Dam, on your new additions. Now, at the age he is, well, it's tough being a dad, but man, when you have to change diapers and when I'm not saying he's old or anything, but that's just you're an advanced age to have a baby. But he has a young wife. So you know what? WWE's international PLE footprint continues to expand in 2026 with Puerto Rico reportedly back in the mix. they're going to hold Backlash in 2026 in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Maybe they'll get Bad Bunny to show up again. That's the last time they were in Puerto Rico. This is going to be Saturday, May 9th.
Uh, I don't know if it's interesting to see because like how they brought him in, did all that stuff, but now the guy that runs the thing there is so involved with the people who don't want Bad Bunny to be part of the Super Bowl. So I don't know. Yeah.
Interesting.
What a timeline.
Interesting. Well, maybe not, I mean, they haven't had that much luck with celebrity wrestlers recently anyway. So, except for Logan Paul, but I think he was looking for something better to do, I guess. So he wants to fight the guy who beat up his brother last week, but broke his jaw. But, I'm not going to get into that. I was happy to see it though. Jake Paul getting beat up finally, especially, when he paid everybody else to lose, including Mike Tyson. And I'll never not believe that because I've seen you go to some YouTube pages where they show Mike Tyson and where he has an open shot to hit him in the face and he punches him in the stomach. And it's like, you can see he changed his mind halfway through the punch that he's going to go low instead of because he would have knocked him out. I feel, that's when I begin to believe that, yeah, this was fixed. So, some other news, NXT is going to be traveling in 2026. They're going to take the show on the road. So the people are more used to working in front of crowds, different crowds every night instead of the same one they get at Full Sail every week. You can look at the crowd and you can see the same people every week on NXT, when they're there. It's once in a while they get to go out on the road. But now they're going to be, and I remember we had NXT at the Main Street Armory. I was there. It was a great show. And it was like, there was a different kind of NXT back then. That's one where we were all super into them, and now it's just tougher too, because it's more, in the, in the vein of regular WWE programming, I mean, it's Shawn Michaels running them, Paul Levesque getting credit at the end of every show, things like that, Remember when we were really high on Triple H for doing a great job with NXT when that's all he had to do was NXT? And, and now look what we think about the guy, I mean, the storylines are flat, I have a feeling we're going to get
too busy taking videos outside the White House. So
yeah, I think we're going to have a big Cody Rhodes turn coming up very soon. And maybe as soon as January 5th. I would not be surprised because it's like if you're going to put him against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania this year, Roman Reigns is like super over as a face. I mean, you got to make Cody the heel. I'm guessing that's.
I can't really judge it because I'm not actively watching, so it's hard to get like a true opinion on how the crowds are reacting and everything like that. But to me, it just seems like Cody's the current Cena that you don't consider turning him heel for a long time. That's just how I see him. But
He's been acting like a wild card recently. He's been doing, he's like, if you touch him, you're going to lose your belt because he's been beating up Drew McIntyre. Him beat him up in the back. He's doing things that, you would consider a heel be doing, So, I mean, that's my opinion.
I'm not opposed to it. I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoy a heel Cody, but
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, he just seems like the new face of the place with the make-a-wishes and the smiling and the meet and greets and wearing the suits and stuff. Like I don't know. I just don't see it, but maybe.
Well, we've seen Cody go heel before. He did in AEW, I mean, he could.
He could.
Yeah, and we could. So that's all
I
the
mean,
news.
he did a great job at the Berwyn Eagles Club many years ago when I lived in Chicago, telling the Chicago fans that ketchup belongs on a hot dog, which it does, which it absolutely does.
There
So
you go.
that made it. If that makes you a heel, then heel it up,
But in Chicago, it does. So, I like
babies.
mustard myself, but that's just me. So, like that's all the news I got for today. And I just want to throw out some things before we end. One is the painies. We're going to have to talk about them within the next couple of weeks. And end of the year, some of the things that this past year, we'll do like a end of the year wrap up, maybe next show. And some of the things that have happened in the past year that kind of stuck out in my mind that, were big events of wrestling in the last year. Obviously, John Cena retiring, WWE going to Netflix, Hogan passing away. And I watched this whole YouTube video on Psycho Stu versus Raha Jackson, which was the Raha Jackson went into business for himself and beat the heck out of a guy. And, now there's
Oh
lawsuits
yeah.
over it. Yeah, so there's some of these things happened in the last year, and those are some of the things that stand out. Maybe we'll bring up when we talk about things in the past year, But beyond that, I think I'm gonna wish you all happy New Year because we definitely will not be on before New Year, but yeah, possibly next week's show might be on next Friday night, just because I've got these things going on, and I apologize, But Rob, hopefully you had a good Christmas. Did you have a good Christmas? I didn't even ask you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christmas, it was green Christmas here, and then it decided to get snowy the day after. But on that note, we're going to say
Yeah.
goodbye. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Mad Dog. I see you there in the chat room. Hey, yo. Thanks, Pat, for throwing in some Tom. A lot of guys, Rennie's in there. So we appreciate all you guys with us. We're going to get out of here. It's still Christmas was yesterday or 2 days ago. And so we're still in a holiday kind of mood. And my big thing next is to go out and snow blow my driveway. So I'm going to do it
Exciting.
before it gets dark here, because it gets dark so early. So guys, have a great week, and we'll body slam somebody